Welcome everyone. It is a evening edition. We have Joe Stevens, our great guest. She's up there in the north. You can see the colors. And it's me and David McNiner. I got David McNiner on the bottom, my great co-host. This show is, going to be transitioning to different dates, so stay tuned. Look for notifications. We are going to kind of try to adjust to our guest. So tonight it's not the Shaw Show. Shout out to the Shaw Show. Please go check out his channel, like and subscribe. He's a great guy. But there was some scheduling, and we had to, sometimes you have to steal the bacon, or you have to, just like shift, make, punt, whatever you got to do. And we audibled, and I got Joe right here. And if you haven't recognized Joe, then you haven't been around enough. I got Joe around, and he's a good guy. Love his opinion and his aspects. And one thing about Joe is, yes, you see, he's a Seahawk fan, but this guy knows his team. So, with further introduction, I love to talk. You know that. Joe, thank you for coming on. And David McNiner, thank you as well. Joe, let's give it to you. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm really happy. I was you guys punted. You guys had to punt. You didn't quite get what you wanted, but hey, it's not a turnover, right? You didn't get to miss a show. So yeah, thanks for having me. Nathan Z, Bebop, Tony, Crazy Juice. What is going on, everybody? Thanks for having me. What's up?
So, sometimes, like if you have to punt, it's not necessarily the best, the worst thing in the game either. Sometimes, it's a better, outcome. Sometimes you can gain field position. So again, I really appreciate you being able to scramble and come in with us, because anytime I can get you on the show and David, I mean, I just got there's a good vibe. So again, thank you everybody for coming in. King Mufasa, I see you, dude. I see you. Thank you. King Mufasa is a great guy here. He comes through. He's in a lot of chats. I see him in Rombo. I see him in John Jay. I appreciate you coming through, my friend. If you guys know about Dufu Sports, okay, me and King Mufasa, I see him in there. This is a streaming service, so if you have a, maybe sometimes you can't see a game or something, and you download Dufu Sports, you can stream like almost anything. There's some things you have to do. Sometimes the stream gets cut out because they stream to YouTube, and then somebody tattles, and then they have to reload. So you'll have to refresh every once in a while, but it's totally free. And this is, I mean, awesome to see you here. Thank you so much. Again, we got Nathan Z, Crazy Juice, Tony, my beautiful wife. We got CG down here. Everybody check his channel out as well. And Carcast, a great guy as well. So, David, how are you doing tonight? How are you feeling? It's Wednesday night, so also training camps just started. So, what's your thoughts?
It's hump day.
I was hoping.
I scheduled Friday off, so tomorrow's my Friday, buddy. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, training camp has started. We've got some news. I watched some stuff on the Niners, and Trey Lance actually looked really good according to 3 different people that were there. I haven't heard anything negative on his performance of the day, but this is not in pads yet. Now no one really in his face. People kind of in his face. No one really in his face, and and I believe the only missed pass he has was a deep ball to Danny Gray that was batted down, and it was a good deep pass. But our defense, right? So
Yeah, not to.
I just it's good news, buddy. It's good
Yeah.
news.
How
Oh
about
man.
Bosa?
So
Yeah.
Bosa hasn't returned to camp yet, or turned into camp. He's still in Florida. He's waiting on his contract, and they are speculating he wants 35 or more, and the Niners just haven't agreed on it just yet. So I think
You
this is
think
going to be
it's worth
about.
it?
I do.
I
I do.
would too. I would too. You can't let that guy go.
Dude, he makes
There's people. There's people that argue. I saw some. Of course, I was on Twitter or X, whatever it is now. I heard it was changing. I don't know. Now I was on Twitter, and somebody I don't even remember who it was like, Nick Bosa can't be paid more than Aaron Donald. I think Nick Bosa, and this is a total outside looking in perspective. Keep in mind, I obviously don't root for the 49ers. I'm rooting against them 99 times out of 100. And
Why?
it's like I can see him only progressing where I see Aaron Donald is regressing at this point, right? And he's going, you can't pay Bosa more than Aaron Donald. Well, yeah, you can, because I think this season coming up, of course, I'm going to knock on wood here. I'm more afraid of Nick Bosa than I am Aaron Donald. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Nick Bosa is an impact player. Straight up. He comes in, he wreaks havoc in the backfield, even if he's not getting sacks. He gets tackles for loss. He's not the biggest guy on the planet. He's not the fastest guy on the planet. He's just good.
He's a football player.
Yeah. I watched lots of tape on the guy, and he just, he's going up against these big old 6'7", 330-pound tackles that can actually move, and he's just whooping them all over the place. It's like, you know what was that what was that train, the mighty what?
Thomas. I don't know. That's the
Thomas Train. Yeah, it's kind of like.
Yeah, I think I like I said, I'm afraid of Bosa. I mean, honestly, I'm afraid of Warner too. But going into those games, I'm like, God damn it, that guy's going to be a bitch to block, to keep out of the backfield. So he's almost like how I used to feel like going against Aaron Donald every year. It's the same type of deal going against Bosa. So,
man, it's one of those things. He came into the team. He, was electric right when he came in. Like hit fire, and it's one of those things. You see him, and he's. Does he really need to train with the team? No. Does he really need to listen to instruction? No. Can he come in and tell our team what to do? Yeah. Has he been trained better than our team? Our coaches look at him like a leader. There's a lot of aspects to him because one, his dad played for the league. His brother's currently playing for the league. So yes, I would love to do anything that's possible to try to keep him, a 49er. I think, speculating, we've talked to Jason Hurley, we're good friends of all of us. And he said, between 35 and 40 million. And I trust his words a whole lot. And I take a lot of stock in what he says.
So much money though.
And
for, even I hear quarterbacks making 40 million. I'm like, God damn it. I just, because obviously we're not in the same situation. Obviously Gino's kind of a prove it contract. But between your three quarterbacks, I don't know how much they're making. I don't know. Because Trey Lance is probably making, $10 million from his rookie contract. And then Purdy's making like $1 million. And then I couldn't tell you what Darnold's making. Maybe it's like, 4, something like that.
I think it's like a 6 or 7, but I think it has incentives. So it's probably going to be 3 or 4.
So here's one thing I like.
Hopefully.
Here's one thing that I really like that both of our teams are doing is we're not paying a quarterback, 20% of the salary cap. But that's the only thing I get nervous about signing Bosa too, is that it just eats up a percentage of the cap, which sucks because you got to keep him, right? But that means sacrificing Greenlaw next offseason. There's going to be no more Greenlaw. And we play against that guy twice a year. That Greenlaw is a stud. I don't care what anybody says. I like Warner, but that Greenlaw is a stud. And I thought Al, what's his, Shire? No.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Aziz Shire or something like that. 51. Yeah. That guy was a killer too. I think losing that guy might hurt a little bit. What do you guys think?
The Niners are like such a factory right now. It's like really one guy steps down, or steps out, and you're like, oh man, we really lost somebody. It seems like the people that we can't replace right now currently, and this is my humble opinion, the corners we seem to be decent at every single year for the last couple of years. We've been able to actually probably since the Richard Sherman accusation where he came on, we started getting stable at the corner position, I'd like to say. And then, the linebackers are studs. So when you got that back half of the defense, but I think our downfall has been since, I know people don't like to hear it, but I think when we had lost Buckner and he left our defensive line, it really shifted everything because sometimes people say Armstead can play outside and inside. Sometimes people, and a lot of people believe he's a really good run stuffer. I have a problem with Armstead because he's been injured a couple times. And, it's not a problem. Like, I just want to see the guy on the field. I used to make fun of Jimmy Ward because he used to say, healthy. He couldn't stay healthy. He was always hurt. So I called him Hospital Ward. It's just one of those things. So I would like to definitely see that the transition of our players, if you're a good player, you show it by being healthy. But yeah, we are like really a factory. So I think again, like sometimes some people step down or step away, and we got somebody else waiting in the backfield. And the Niners again, they try to draft for the next year. So sometimes we'll draft players and they won't play the first year. A lot of times people say, "Oh, we don't trust rookies," and that's not necessarily true because we've had like last year we started offensive rookie. I think David knows his exact name, and it's one of those things. Like, thank you, sir. Thank you. It's one of those things. It's just like I think if you're the best player on our team at the time, you'll start. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or not, but you have to be proficient. You have to dot all the I's. So, yeah, by us losing a player here or there, I think it's going to make us slower, or it'll take a step back, but maybe just for a couple games. And I think that'll also again be the transition of the different head coach or not head coach, our defensive coach. David, let me give it to you for that.
Well, a lot of time. Seahawks Wi-Fi kicking in.
He'll be back.
But a lot of times when we draft a player, we're drafting him to replace someone that's still on the squad for his rookie season too. So and we tend to draft guys that are kind of raw with higher upside. So the whole red shirt thing, it really depends on how far along are you actually. And Spencer Burford was our starting right tackle, or right guard, not tackle, guard. I honestly believe he should be at tackle, considering what I watched some tape on McKivitz today. But so and it just depends. When it comes to defense, like Hufanga, they got him and he sat for a season. I wasn't about that though, because I saw something in him right off the bat. Because there are things you can't coach up, like being in the right place at the right time, instincts. There are things you can't coach up, and he has that, and he has those. So, but now he has Steve Wilkes to help him come along with all the stuff he needs to work on. So I expect Hufanga to be even better this year than he was last year.
It's always hard changing coordinators, though. No matter what you say, no matter how good the guy is, if you had something good going for you last year, it's always kind of hard to make that transition. Because I think everybody liked D'Amico, right? There was no complaints, obviously, as a head coach. Not like the guy got fired or anything. Their defense was solid last year. So that's the only thing I'd be nervous about with you guys, just that changing of I guess leadership and getting everybody to buy into that guy, right? Even though all the fans are obviously going to buy into him, but how well are the players going to buy into him and listen to what he's saying? So
I like him. He's actually going to be calling the defense from the box, so he has a full view of the field and can see what's going on versus being on the sideline. You kind of there's some things that you can't see, so that's something I like about him. And he's been around the league for a while. Well, I don't think he had I think he had like a 500 record with the Trash Panthers. So,
yeah. And he got fucked over, or sorry, excuse my language, Brian. He got screwed over when he coached the Cardinals. I mean, he was put in a losing situation no matter what. I mean, they drafted Josh frickin' Rosen. So what do you?
But with that, okay, so that makes two wrongs for us, right? Because not only did Jeff Wilkins beat us twice with the quarterbacks that he had, and wasn't that quarterback on our team at one point, David? So this might be three wrongs, and then you go and draft Josh Rosen, and then we go and pick him up and say maybe we can make him work too. So I think we got hit
Rosen.
We did.
He
Yeah,
was. I think it was. Was it 2022 or 2021? Either way, he was on the squad for the preseason.
yeah. And then I think he went. I
Hmm.
think he went to the Falcons after us. But I mean, it's just one of
Yeah.
those things. It's like Kyle Shanahan thinks he can take somebody out there that he might physically like, or maybe he, whatever, like the skill player that he's looking for. There's intangibles, and I'm not saying traits, or we're not going to go all that way. But for whatever reason, he thinks he can take somebody and mold them and put them into the game like he's playing a Madden game.
I
I
think
think
Pete does that. Pete does that shit too. Trust me. It's not. It's not just you guys. I think it's almost. Honestly, I think it's.
the coaches want a player to go in there and just do what they said. I don't tell you to throw deep. I want you to throw the 7 yard out. I want you to we're gonna go down the field this way. Oh, audible. You made something up and you bootlegged. Oh, great. The fans like you, but that's not what I wanted in my offensive
Well,
playbook.
I think coaches obviously right. Like the 49ers probably scouted him right, just like the Seahawks scouted all these first round busts that we've signed. And for the most part, it doesn't work out. Once in a blue moon, it works out, right? But I think the coaches just think that they can coach somebody up better than the last guy could. But in all actuality, like I'm not saying this to be an ass or anything, but a lot of the times they're just busts and weren't made for the league, you know. So
It's very true. Sometimes players come in, they have a lot of good athletic traits, and they can do certain things, and they can play better than other players, but they don't get it. One thing's not right, or not everything adds up. And maybe you're really good at running, or you're not really good at doing one thing or the other. And again, once the defense catches up to you, or the league catches up to you, gets enough tape, and they understand how to defeat you or stop you, you have to evolve, and you have to continue to excel. And I think that's where some of these quarterbacks, they can achieve, because they continue to do those little intangibles, where these other guys that maybe we don't want to call them a bust, but it's fair to call them a bust. I mean, it really is. It is
Rosen's
what
a
it is.
bust. Rosen's
I
a
mean,
bust.
I
Oh
don't
yeah.
want to. I don't want to offend anybody. If I ever met somebody in person, be like, "Hey, I called you a bust," but then again, they could say, "Hey, I painted an apartment really shitty too." So it's like, okay, does that make me a bust? I mean, like, no,
It
it didn't work
could if you
out.
suck at painting, Brian. It's
You
not
know,
your calling.
you
That's my
know,
thing. Is
But at that point, I'm not getting paid like what 80 million, or not 80 million, 800,000 to league minimum or whatever. I'm just getting paid my hourly wage. So give me a break, right? But no, you still put your full effort out. I agree, but
it's
no, yeah, it's hard to call people bust, because everybody has feelings. But if you don't perform, that's why they have 90 guys on the roster, and there's only going to be 53 that's going to make it. It's the best players, right?
yeah. No, that's actually funny that you brought up. So I'm like kind of the I'm if I have feelings a certain way towards somebody, I'm just gonna show it no matter what. So like, there's a couple kids I went to high school with. Like, there's this one kid I went to high school with. He's got like a couple million followers on YouTube, and like we're around the same places sometimes. I haven't liked him since seventh grade, and he knows it, and I still won't like him. I'm not gonna pretend to be buddies with him because he's famous now. And then same thing. There's another guy that's a singer now, and I guess he moved out to Nashville or whatever. I'm never gonna act like I'm your buddy if I'm not, you know. So
No, you got to be straight. You got to be totally upfront with people. You either gel with them or you don't, but not knowing people personally, I still want to be respectful. But yeah.
Rosen killed me when he said there was 9 mistakes picked ahead of me, and I don't know. I don't remember what was that 18 or 19. Do you remember McNiner when
When
Rosen?
Josh Rosen was drafted by the Cardinals.
Yeah,
19.
I think it was 2018 because I think they got Kyler Murray. Didn't they get Kyler Murray in 19?
yeah, I think so. So let's go over that really quick. Just because he said there was 9 mistakes taken in front of him, we'll see. Uh, let's see here.
Oh, I love
Okay,
this.
yeah. Okay, so Baker Mayfield, I mean, Baker is what it is. We all know about it. Saquon, I'm still taking Baker over Rosen 8 days out of the week. I don't know about you guys. Saquon,
Baker's a legitimate player. He's a legitimate starter. He could start on most teams. Rosen,
He's a good backup.
yeah, he's a great backup. Rosen's not even a good backup. He's like a good practice squad guy.
yeah,
Yep.
Saquon, I obviously take Saquon over.
yeah.
Sam Darnold,
Solomon.
not too
Oh,
sure about Sam
really?
Darnold. I guess we'll see.
I would at this point. I'd still take Sam Darnold
Oh,
over.
me too. I
Rosen.
was just being a smartass. Yeah, Sam Darnold's an NFL level quarterback, teetering. I mean, obviously, it depends on what he does with you guys, but I see him
Yeah,
as kind of like a. If he has to go in and play 2 or 3 games for you guys, you're lucky to have him. Denzel Ward, Bradley Chubb, Quentin Nelson, Josh Allen, Roquan Smith, and Mike McGlinchey were all taken ahead of this guy, and he said there was 9 mistakes in front of him.
oh boy, the only one I could think would potentially be a mistake. I think David's going to pick the same one I'm going to say is McGlinchey. That's the only one I could think would be even cheater on that
McGlinchey
level.
got paid though. McGlinchey got paid, so obviously he did something right. I guess when it comes to run blocking, I guess he was like a good run blocker, which obviously I watched him
Yeah,
twice
yeah.
a year.
Denver gave Mick Chokeslammed a huge contract. Yep.
Good. Hopefully he gives up like 10 sacks. I hate the Broncos.
Russell Wilson's used to running for his life. He'll be all right.
He does it to himself, dude. Watch it.
So Bebop says
Bebop,
Saquon. Go
I
ahead,
didn't know
Joe.
you were from Pennsylvania. That's cool.
Yeah, Bebop's he's in enemy territory, and he's man. You know how loyal Bebop is, but he says Saquon is from here in Pennsylvania. Went to Whitehall High School, one town over. Wow, it's really cool because Joe, I think you might be able to elaborate on this a little bit too. Pennsylvania has a lot of good quarterbacks. Sometimes people say that state develops or something in the water. So I believe Dan Marino. I want to say Joe Namath. I want to say Joe Montana. All are PA guys. So what are your thoughts kind of on that?
Kenny Pickett. I don't know. I don't. What do you want me? Yeah, sure. I guess. I don't know.
Something in the water, huh?
I can't. I'm sorry. I got nothing for you there. I guess it's the opposite of Ohio State.
Hey, shout out to Ohio State. Lived there too, short period of time.
The
Dayton, here's looking at you. So,
quarterbacks suck, though.
oh man, I was this close, guys. If I would have stayed in Dayton a little longer, I might have been like a Cincinnati Bengal fan or a Browns fan. You imagine that? So I got out of that state when I was in diapers. I'm thankful, very thankful.
Yeah, thank God.
So,
especially if you're a Browns fan. I mean,
oh man. All right, so we talked a little Niners, right? What's going on up there in your neck of the woods? What's going on with the Seahawks?
a lot.
Let's hear it.
There were 260 picks in the NFL draft last year, or this year in the 2023 NFL draft. Only one hasn't signed, and that's Devin Witherspoon, the 5th overall pick with the Seahawks. He's a holdout this year, and it's kind of irritating some people. Yep. Yeah, I saw your face.
Why hasn't he signed?
I guess so. Rookie contracts are set in stone, right? But what's not
Yeah.
set in stone is how the guaranteed money's spread out. So that's what they're arguing over. I think he'll probably be in tomorrow or the next day because Pete in his interview goes, I expect him to be here sooner rather than later, and then he got asked again. He goes, he'll be here real quick. Don't worry. So within the next few days, I think he'll sign. It's just a bad look for the guy already. I think it's a terrible look. Just sign it. The money's going to be there no matter what. So I don't know. So yeah, it's probably worst situation with our 5th overall pick right now, other than like knock on wood, an ACL tear or something like that. So, but yeah, there was that out of camp today. What else came out of camp today? I guess Jaron Reed. I don't know if you guys know him much. they signed him and they thought he was going to play kind of defensive end, but I guess they're slotting him in at the nose tackle this year. And I don't think that was on purpose. We extended Chen Nwosu 3 more years. Wore his jersey today, so I represent that. He had 9.5 sacks last season. He was really the only decent pass rusher we had on the team last year. How long? You got 3 more years. So he had 1 year left. So he's good for 4 years. Yeah, he had 9.5 sacks last year, and he was the only one that really could cause any pressure last season. And stats kind of flew on that because Darrell Taylor had 9.5 sacks last year, but they were all like in the fourth quarter. It was an obvious passing down, trying to throw it like 60 yards down the field type of deal. Yeah, Quandre restructured his contract today. Quandre Diggs freed up some money, so I guess they're thinking we might re-sign Shelby Harris because we cut him. I'm not sure what to expect. I just want Witherspoon to come to camp. I don't like the whole holding out deal. So, yeah.
Awesome. So I know there's a little bit of a hype, and I know you're really excited about the cornerbacks up there in Seattle. So, do you have any favorite cornerbacks that the Niner fans should be looking out for, or any sleepers that we should not know about that you want to? Any honorable mentions?
Yeah, Witherspoon if he shows up to camp. But other than that, obviously Tariq Woolen was an all-star last year. I mean, watching that guy, I don't know how much you guys watch him, but you'd watch him get beat down the field, and you're like, what the fuck? And then the ball's thrown, and he's right there. I mean, he runs a 4.2, 4.2 640 or something like that. It's insane. I mean, the guy's a freak. He's a converted wide receiver as well, so he has great ball skills. And then we still got Mike Jackson, and that's another thing. Mike Jackson played great last season for what we expected from him. So it's kind of one of those. And Trey Brown, he didn't get a lot of play time last year, but 2 years ago he kind of shined. So it's kind of cornerback is one of those positions that we feel like if someone goes down, it's not the end of the world. If 2 guys go down, it's not the end of the world. Now, if 3 go down, maybe it's the end of the world. But I think we're good with if 2 guys go down.
So, what's your thoughts on was Bobby Wagner came back to your team? Am I correct?
Yep.
What's your thoughts overall on his aspects to the team, his contributions, and his longevity?
He's a leader. He's a leader, and he should have never left. I think that was kind of the Seahawks' fault and Bobby's fault with a terrible communication. When Russell left, everybody was kind of like, screw him, he sucks, because he wanted to leave. Bobby never wanted to leave. And it was heartbreaking when Bobby left. When Russ left, it was like, screw this guy. But now that he's back, I think we had terrible linebacker play last year. We had Cody Barton and Tanner Muse after Brooks tore his ACL. I mean, it was awful. And Brooks is on the PUP still, obviously, with the torn ACL. So it's like, yeah, we kind of need him back as far as a filling in a gap, but also just being there as a leader. I think it'll help a lot.
Veteran leadership, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, he was Warner before Warner was in the league, right? I think Warner is the top linebacker in the NFL right now. I still think Bobby's a top 5 linebacker. I mean, take it with a grain of salt, just like everything off PFF, but he was still ranked the number 1 inside linebacker in the NFL last year as far as PFF. So, I mean, you can't trust everything that PFF has on there, but if they're ranking you number 1 in the NFL, you got to be doing something right. And when we played him twice last year, it looked like the old him. So,
do you take any? Last question for me before I pass it to David. Do you take any? Because David wants, David's my co-host. He comes on. He's got all these good questions too for people. So be ready. But my last question is do you take any stock into the Madden ratings? And does any of your Seahawk players register where you agree
Oh
with.
yeah, yeah, it's bullshit. What do you guys think? What's one that you were pissed off about? Because I know everybody's pissed off about somebody.
Me personally, I play Madden with my daughter, but she beats me and she won't let me play with the 49ers. So I have to usually play against her with whatever team we're playing that upcoming week or whatnot. And it makes it fun for me because I'm learning the players or whatnot. But she beats me. And yeah, I like playing. I'm pretty good, I think. But as far as the ratings go, I think it's kind of kudos. It's a pat on the back. Some players might get the accolades that they need and don't, but I can't say that there's one that I'm super mad about. Trent Williams, I think his numbers should have been a little higher. And
What is he? Do you know?
what is it?
98.
98, yeah.
Oh, you can't be pissed off about that. Come on, give me a
Can't be
break.
too mad. Can't be too mad. And I think CMC should be a little higher too, but I
What
think
did
he's
Warner get? Do you
7.
know?
I'm not sure what Warner got, but yeah, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts, David?
I honestly thought like Aaron Banks played really good last year, and they scored him a 74. I honestly think the dude deserves an 80 or up. Not much above 80, but around 80. And when it comes down to it, I don't think the Madden ratings actually count.
And here's the thing too: is I play. That's like the only video game I play. Like when I get off here, that's probably what I'll go do. They change them throughout the year. So if you suck, like I think Russ went from like an 89 to start the season, or maybe it could have been as high as a 92. He ended the season at a 76 overall. So they update it. Yeah, it's like they're pretty good about that. So that's what's always tight, right? Like if you suck, they're gonna be like, oh no. And if
So
you're good, they give
Fred Warner was a 96.
Oh, okay. I think Warner should be higher. I'm scared. I'm telling you, if I could take one guy from your guys' team, I might take that guy.
Well, they scored the Defensive Player of the Year in '98. Don't you think he deserves a 99 just for being the Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, but also props to them. Sorry about that. Crazy dog.
I got a kid in the background, so no worries. I mean, hey, if anybody's here and they're listening, we apologize. We're just a couple guys that come on, want to have some fun. We do have a little bit of knowledge, and you might hear a dad joke once in a while, And shout out to all the dogs and the friends. If you didn't know, I think last Friday it was don't adopt a dog at a pet store day. And what that means is if you need to, buy a dog or you're getting a dog or something for your kid, well, maybe you don't have to go look at the pet store. There's a pet, there's pounds, there's people and, neighbors and stuff. They have dogs. If you know somebody, you might need to know somebody. I have a cousin, just saying. So, go ahead, Joe.
I'm a huge puppy mill guy. I'm just kidding. You can cut that. You can cut that if you want. That's fine. I'll look like that for the rest of my life. Fuck, what were we talking about? Madden ratings. Yeah, Tariq. So here's the number one problem I had with the Madden ratings. They scored Sauce Gardner at 93 and Tariq Woolen at 83. When if you look at the statistics, they match right up. But here's my problem. And you guys have a giant fan base, and I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on the Friday night shows when you guys are on. Being tucked up in the Northwest, you do not get a lot of recognition unless you win the Super Bowl. It's always been like that. So, like, say Tariq Woolen was drafted 5th overall to the New York Jets, and Sauce Gardner was drafted in the 5th round to the Seattle Seahawks, and they played exactly how they did last year. Just Sauce was on the Seahawks, and Tariq was roles reversed, basically, right? And they played exactly how they did. The guy in New York's winning the Defensive Rookie of the Year, no matter what.
Yep.
I mean, it's always been that way, and like the fact that they gave. Sorry, I'm getting off topic here, but
no, this is all topic. We're talking Niners. This is an interview show. This is kind of a cool show to everybody come in and talk and listen. And if you have questions for our guest or anybody has any general questions, just please politely put them in the chat. We'll try to get to them. But no, the whole New York thing, we have a whole big thing about it too, because it's like New York seems to get the votes and they seem to get a lot of attention. And it's really weird because in California, the only thing that you could think that would rival New York is LA. And we're not LA. So we feel it. We definitely feel it.
No, and it's like that Dayball winning Coach of the Year. Like, give me a break, dude. Honestly, that going into that season, sure, you don't think they make the playoffs, but you're thinking an 8-9 win team, right? He wins 10 games, and they're going, "Oh, this guy's the Coach of the Year." Kyle Shanahan went to the NFC Championship with a third-string quarterback. Pete Carroll took a team that was supposed to win 3 games by a lot of experts' opinions to the playoffs. Granted, we got our ass kicked, but the fact of the matter is we took a 3-win team on paper, right, to the playoffs, won 9 games. You guys took a team with a third-string quarterback all the way to the NFC Championship game and might have won if your quarterback didn't get hurt. And they're giving it to this fat, bald guy because he coached a 9-win team to 10 wins and won a playoff game. It irritates me. If it didn't have the NY,
East Coast bias, buddy.
And that's it's always been like that. It's always, and you guys, I sound like a bitch here, but you guys don't experience it as much because you guys have the fanfare. There's 49ers fans all over. But when you're a Seahawks fan and you watch the national media, you're like, I can't do this. I just can't. The only one that's pretty decent, I like Chris Sims a little bit, and you guys hate him. I like Mike Florio too.
So before we get too far away from Madden, I got one question for Bryant. There is one 49er that is rated 27, and it's Tabor Pepper.
Oh, wow.
How do you feel about that, buddy?
Oh, wow. He got rated. Because I know he wanted to be rated. He wanted to get rated. So he's probably super tickled. Tabor Pepper is the long snapper for the 49ers. He is a career long snapper. Like he grew up and wanted to be a long snapper. He played in high school and then got drafted as a long snapper in college. And that's all he does is long snap. Like the guy's not super huge. He's just really good at what he does.
So I'll tell you why he's a 27. They always do this every year because they need to fix this. So in Madden, they don't have a position that's a long snapper, right? They put them all at tight end. So that's their rating at tight end would be a 27. But if you go in the depth chart and you look at long snapper, that's where you have to see your long snapper grade, if that makes sense. So you're going to have to wait until it comes out on the 15th and then go in the depth chart and go, okay, he's like a 75 or whatever it may be.
So with our other long snapper, I think his name was Kyle Nelson. He used to be the long snapper and a backup tight end. With Tabor Pepper just being a long snapper, I think he better be really good at it. I like Tabor Pepper too. But, when you're only one thing on the team and you don't contribute in too many other positions or ways, right? You better be damn good at what you do. So shout out to Tabor Pepper. He's a good guy. One of my favorite 49er players, but 27, and I think John said it, so he's been rated last year. So maybe he was rated last year, but I follow the guy on Twitter. He's pretty funny, so if you guys haven't seen him, check him out. Likes Monster the Gathering and Pokemon, and he's a youngin', so check him out. But that's cool, David. But what else do we got going on? We were talking.
How do you guys feel about Mike Florio? I heard you guys hate him over there.
Thank you. Do you want to go first, David?
Mike Florio, you talking the reporter? Mike Florio. I don't think there's a Niner fan that thinks highly of him. No.
Why is that? I'm just wondering because obviously I don't pay that much. If he says something, it kind of just goes over my head. So.
He's all about the clickbait. He'll put out a story that's not factual. It's just his opinion, and he writes it to the point where I had a source said it's like, okay, a source. What's a source? Is it your 4-year-old kid that woke up in the morning and said something? Is it, well, what's your source? And no, I'm not ever giving up my source. And
I think that's how he
it's
stays
just
alive,
like,
though, because he can't say who said it. I don't know. I hate Colin Coward with a passion.
So
oh,
Colin Coward, his daughter used to date Trey Lance, and they broke up or whatever. Sorry, life moves on. Trey Lance
mhm.
started dating John Brody's daughter, who is
Granddaughter.
John Brody's granddaughter, who is Chris Chandler, the old Falcon quarterback. He married into the Brody family, or his, you guys get it. And then his daughter is, Trey Lance's girlfriend. I don't know if they're currently anymore. I don't want to keep my eyes. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't want to.
They are.
But so
They are.
that's kind of cool, right? Bringing the franchise closer together. So there's a reason like Hurd doesn't like speculation. Maybe he broke his daughter's heart or something, right? It could happen. Maybe she broke it off with him. I don't know. But then the whole thing with Florio, Chris Sims, him and Kyle Shanahan are like best friends. They supposedly have matching tattoos. I don't know if I like any guy, even my brother's, well enough to go get a matching tattoo.
They
Um,
do. They do. It's a tramp stamp that says "Go Hawks."
right?
I think.
Something, I mean, go Hawks, get out of here. But no, supposedly they're really good friends, and I think he tries to come off like, oh, Chris Sims is my guy, and I'm getting all this information because for the last couple of years they were pounding the table. They're saying, oh, it's been Macaroni Jones, right? Mac Jones, and sorry again, just trying to think of his name. Um, Mac Jones was the pick. He was the pick, and he didn't turn out to be the pick. So a lot of these, reporters have gotten egg on their face or been like upset because it did turn out to be true. And they were, I don't know how much money they put down on the pick, but I think a lot of people lost money on it. So Florio, like David said, he definitely comes out. He writes some stuff, and it's persuaded in a certain way where it doesn't put a good shine on the team. And he definitely, I don't know. I'm never happy after reading of an article or listening to him. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I did. I did hear something about that. They were like, "Oh, he traded up, and they were gonna take Mac Jones, but then they changed their mind once they went to Lance's pro day or something." I don't know.
Um,
I heard
you,
something,
you
but I never thought about it because I just
all
what
right.
do I?
You said his name. Why does he go by Mac? You guys know.
His middle name's McCorkle, but I don't remember his first name.
There is a rapper named Mike Jones.
Who?
Hook, line, he set him up. Who?
You say it.
So his name is actually Michael McCorkle Jones, but he goes by Mac Jones because of the rapper.
Yeah. Yeah, his middle name's McCorkle. I knew that.
McCorkle.
I don't think David McNiner listens to Mike Jones too much. He wasn't quite
No.
sure what. Yeah, because I go
don't.
who, and you're like, what?
The in my opinion, the newer rap is just not my
It's
thing.
not new.
You know,
This
it's
is
not
like
my
20 years old, David. You can't call it new anymore.
we'll get you the clip. No, David's a cool guy. David listens to a lot of music, but yeah, that was funny because I used to have a guy in the shop that we used to work with, and his name was Mac. And then somebody come in and be always who Mac Jones, or Mike Jones, and they'd say it. And then there was a wide receiver in the league at the time too, and I had him as my fantasy football player, so we made fun of that. But yeah, I mean,
Can you pull up Steve-O's comment real quick? Not the one that said this guest sucks, because he always says that.
Maybe this was it. Let's see.
No.
He was wrong. No. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay.
It's actually 281-330-8004. That's Mike Jones's phone number.
All right. So, hey, real quick, I think I have a banner. Let me check it out. No, or I think I do an overlay. You want to run through the Seahawk schedule and give us your opinion on what your outcome could be, your preseason prediction.
Sure, I'll say win a lot. No, I'm kidding.
Win
Go
a
ahead.
lot. That's what we want to hear. We all want to win. All right, so you don't see our faces, folks, but we're still here. So it looks like Joe, you start out. Just go ahead and rattle it off if you want. You start with the Rams.
You got a pen and paper? Because I don't know how good I am at keeping track of this right now.
I got a pen and paper. I'll write it down, and we
Week
won't
one
hold you to it.
win.
But we'll write it down. One
Oh,
win.
we'll just make a receipt off the stream. That's okay.
Okay. Week 1 win. Week 2 win. Week 3, it's a loss. You know why? Because we should win that game, and it just doesn't make sense. I'm marking week 3 as a loss. Week 4 win. Then we go to Cincy. We lose that game. I think we beat the Cardinals.
Is that the Browns?
Yeah, beat the Browns because we're on our throwbacks. Lose to the Ravens. Beat the Redskins.
Wait.
Hold on. Football team commanders. Yeah, whatever. We get it.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
I got week 1 and 2 as wins. Week 3 as a loss. Week 4 as a win.
Week
5.
six.
Week 5 as a win.
Week 5.
Week 5 is a bye week. Bye week.
Let me
So
write
week
that.
6 is a loss.
All right, so you guys are coming off a bye and you're going to lose. Interesting. Yep. All right, and then week what, 7 is it?
Yeah, so week 7 win, week 8 win, week 9 loss. I just there's something about playing Lamar Jackson I don't like. He can move really well. I say we beat the Commanders, beat the Rams, beat the Niners at home, lose to the Cowboys week 13, lose to the Niners week 14. I think we're going to beat the Eagles week 15. We're going to lose to the Titans in week 16 and then end the season with 2 straight wins. So what's that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You got 12 and 5.
Oh, fuck. I don't know if I should do that.
It could happen.
That's a little too high for my. So everyone's all high on the Eagles, right? And that's my thing. If you look at, I know everybody's saying, "Oh, the Eagles are different. Oh, the Eagles are different." My problem with the Eagles is usually the team that loses the Super Bowl has a shitty year after. So I don't know.
No, that's a good point. It's a really good point.
Who lost the Super Bowl 2 years ago?
Who lost? It was what, the Bengals?
Yeah, Bengals so they did all right. How about the year before that?
How did the Bengals do? They went to the championship game, right?
No, the year before that, I guess it was the Chiefs Buccaneers. I don't know.
It just hold on. Then you have the Super Bowl winner, the Rams, and they went 6-10. I mean, we made the Super Bowl in 2019, and then we had 2020 come up, and all kinds of stuff hit the fan, and we went 6-10. And we lost.
And then okay, so I'm just looking at the ones that stand out in my head. Like when the Falcons lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots, they fell off after that. The Eagles lost to the Super Bowl. The Eagles won that Super Bowl. Never mind. It seems like they fell off after that. The Seahawks, after we lost against the Patriots, it was never the same. I mean, it was like a bunch of infighting, everything. And then you guys lost to the Ravens, and then you had like one good year after that, and then you fell off. It's like, I don't know, just losing the Super Bowl, it just doesn't, something about it.
Yeah, that 14 Super Bowl, Pete Carroll needed to read your hat.
I know that's actually not why I wear it, and a lot of people. So around Seattle, obviously, people go, "Oh man, you're so salty over that." I go, "So I bought this during the Let Russ Cook movement. That's when I bought this hat because, dude, he started throwing picks left and right, and it's like, what are we doing? Our defense, our defense allowed so many yards because our offense went 3-and-out every drive. It was either a touchdown or 3-and-out, and it was fast drives, and the defense can't keep up like that. You need long sustained. You need a long sustained offensive drive, and that's just my opinion.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong here, but it was the Niners. We went to the Super Bowl against the Ravens, and then you guys went to the Super Bowl, right?
And won. And then we went again and lost.
And the year you lost, you guys tried to mimic our Super Bowl, and instead of just letting Beast Mode take the ball in like we should have did with Gore, you guys tried to top us with the Crabtree and the Kaepernick, and you guys got picked off.
Okay, you guys.
Do you feel that way, or because I kind of see it that way, being just like an outsider looking out and looking in and saying, okay, the Niners lost because we threw the ball to Crabtree 4 times. We could have let him run one time. One time he could have got in there. It was like,
okay, you guys want to know the truth, so here's what happened. Okay, it's 1st and goal from the 7. We hand Marshawn the ball. He runs it down to the 2-yard line. Gains like 5 yards. Right, we have 2 timeouts left at this point. It's 2nd down. So we have 1 timeout left. Whatever. However the math makes sense, we had to pass it 1 time. You couldn't run it 3 straight times, get stuffed, and the game would still go on. You have to pass it 1 time. Here's my thing. You pass it 9 times out of 10, the worst thing that's going to happen is an incompletion. If you rewatch that play, so Ricardo Lockett's on the outside. He runs a slant, and then Jermaine Kearse is on the inside. He runs an out. If you watch it, so what Kearse is supposed to do is take that Malcolm Butler who intercepted the pass. He's supposed to take him outside with him, but Brandon Browner pressed Kearse so hard at the line of scrimmage, he couldn't do anything, right? And that if you rewatch it, that is the key to that play. I don't disagree with passing the ball in that play. I don't. I disagree with the outcome. Yeah, the outcome sucks and it stings. But you got 1 timeout left. It's 2nd and goal. Pass the ball once. You only have to you can still run the ball twice after that. So
I hear you, but it's kind of one of those things. Like your guys' team was like, run the ball, give Beast Mode the ball. He'll run 50 yards when you need only 2 yards. And like I'm gonna
but here's another thing.
I'm gonna pitch it to David real quick. David, if you need 1 yard, what quarterback is the 49ers going to run out there? I mean, like, he's no longer on the team, but he's almost guaranteed to get that 1 yard. So it's like, I think that's why a lot of fans look at it and look like, man, why didn't they just give it to Beast Mode? So
it's just, yeah, it's so hard because if they complete that pass, nobody's saying why didn't they give that ball to Beast Mode, right? If that pass falls incomplete and then they run the ball next play and Marshawn gets stuffed and run the ball the next play and Marshawn gets stuffed, we're not having the same conversation, but it's the same outcome, right? It's just it could have gone a million different ways, right? Or actually it could have gone 1 of 2 ways. We either scored or we didn't. But I mean, just the way that we did things, it's just they had to pass the ball in that situation unless you run it, take a timeout, and then they know you're going to pass it on 3rd down, right? 2nd down, they're kind of like, they still had 8 men in the box. I mean, I don't know. And you guys seen Marshawn fumble on the goal line before? I know you guys have.
Right? I think I have. I'm not going to say I don't know for sure, but I'm not going to say I haven't. The guy has had some issues, I believe, but
you did. So do you guys remember that play? What's his name? Navarro Bowman broke his leg, and he clearly had that ball in his hand. Right? And so Niners fans will bitch about that, but if you watch the next,
I know what you're talking about. Okay,
the very next play, Marshawn fumbles the ball and you guys recover it. So
Yeah.
it's like, did it really matter that Navarro Bowman had the ball in the grand scheme of things? No, because Marshawn fumbled the very next play and you guys got the ball back.
Well, and in better field position. But yeah, shout out to Culver, the guy that was watching the ball and not paying attention to where his homie was, the guy that actually ran into Navarro Bowman and injured him, our own player. But yeah, that was what I watched that play. I was like, dude, like, was he? You know how dogs are ball dumb? I kind of feel like that's what Culver was at that point. But you know,
Yeah, for sure. And here's the thing: if you guys were in my situation watching that game, I mean, you'd be like, "Fuck yeah, we just got away with one right there, right?" And then the very next play, just instant karma. That's why when people bring up that play that Navarro had the ball, it's like I consider that one a wash because it was instant karma. Marshawn fumbled the ball, and yeah, McNiner's right. You guys had better field position by that, anyways. So
Well, I mean, it really hurt because the guy's knee got tore. You could see it clearly. You know, there was there's videotape footage, photos, whatever. He has the ball, and then for whatever reason, the refs say, "Oh, well, it's not true." And then yes, the football gods they come out and they say, "Hey, next play, it is what it is. Karma. Everybody has a sister, and we know Karma's sister's named Becky, right? Shout out to all the Beckys. But if you know one, you know one. They're great ladies, but great women, but." That football fumble afterwards, yeah, we got the ball back, and I think we went down the field and scored, or maybe we didn't. But it was just one of those things. It's just the way. Sometimes like those vibes and the turning points and stuff like that. If the Niners would have stopped them before then maybe they would have been a little bit more juiced. But then to get the fumble afterwards, it's like redemption. It's just one of those things. Either way, the guy tore his knee up, and I know you're a Seahawk fan. Seahawks aren't a bad team. I respect them, but I won't forget the fans throwing Skittles at them. I just
that
won't.
was classless, and it wasn't Skittles; it was straight garbage. It was
yeah.
shit. It wasn't just Skittles. No, it
Yeah,
wasn't like they were just a bunch of Marshawn Lynch fans. I mean, it was classless. I
I'll
mean,
never eat Skittles again. I said it.
well, that was like shit they do in Philadelphia. That's not like stuff we do here. But
No.
here's the problem. I know I've talked to you guys about this before. Is in the 21st century, it is so easy to sell your tickets and make money off them. You can go on Ticketmaster and do a verified resale, double your money, right, to some dumbass that has money that normally wouldn't be there in a big situation like that and doesn't know how to act in a stadium, right? So that's another issue.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about the ticket sales and how they get resold. And Joe, if you want to elaborate a little bit on that, and then I'm going to give David the time to give you a couple questions as well before we get out of here. But
Yeah, that's my bad. I'm sorry. I've been talking your guys' ear off.
No,
no,
that's why you're here.
yeah, we have a lot of fun. I think we've had a really good conversation. So here's my thoughts, and David's heard me a little bit. What's your overall opinion and aspect when you have tickets and then you go and resell them? And this is kind of my point. The 49er preseason tickets or the training camp tickets were like $10, and it was only for like a donation. And there's people reselling them for 100 and something bucks, a really crazy price. And you're like, for a $10 free ticket, it was supposed to be a donation. So now you're profiting like $90. I've seen one for $130. You're profiting, $120 off of one ticket. So I know you're a season ticket holder, but what's your thoughts? Like, again, like you go to the games. I believe you go to every game you can. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah,
Again,
except I don't go to Raiders games because I have a mouth on me. So
but
I don't do it. But yeah, I don't like it. I hate it. I think there should be a cap on what you should be able to sell your tickets for. I really don't. I think there should be, because like I said, I have season tickets, right? So I don't necessarily have my own season tickets. So what I do is I have two uncles that have season tickets, right? So I get half my tickets in one section, have my tickets in the other. So really, I have partial season tickets, if that makes sense, but I still go to every game. Um, my name's just like 25,000th in the waiting list. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years to go to every game because it's cheaper than Ticketmaster. But I think that there should be a cap on it. I really do. I mean, it's insane what these tickets are going for.
Shout out to Annie. She's my wife's cousin.
Annie
But
Lynn.
you know, this kind of like things is like, I guess you can't go to every game, and that's fine. And the seasons, you would want to see a game full, can completely, entirely full if it's possible. But Mike, again, like when you take a ticket that's $100 and then you resell it because all the team's winning, and I've looked at season
That's
tickets
my
for the
issue.
Niners. I've looked at tickets and I'm like, individual games, and I like to look at the tickets at the beginning of the season. They're always expensive, and then you go further in, and get to December and stuff, and the tickets get cheaper if you order them early, right? And I'm like, okay, well that might be cool. I could get some, dice level seats and stuff like that. But just as soon as the team starts winning, and if you don't buy your tickets, those tickets go up. If they are not winning, those tickets stay, relatively affordable. But for people that go to the games, every time they can, shout out to you. But when you take and turn around and sell your tickets and then just go to the playoffs, I'm not really, really too happy about that. Don't make me feel too good,
A
because it
lot of
just makes me feel like you jacked up the regular tickets and the season tickets at that point. Where if you know, I don't know. What's your thoughts?
So what a lot of people do is they'll just sell their playoff tickets, and that's more annoying, right? Because I don't know. I pay face value, like I said. I buy all 8 or 9 home games. Depending. Last year it was 9 home games, but it used to just be eight every year. But now they like switch it back and forth between the AFC and NFC because there's 17 games. But I just listen. It's like so. My dad got our tickets in 2002, and we had them through 2011. And we never sold games. We gave games away. We never sold them. And if we did sell them, it was never for a profit. Because that's my thing is we're fans. And that was my dad's one rule if we ever sold our tickets or gave them away is it can't be an opposing team fan. But that's back before Ticketmaster too. So now it's so easy. You just go bleep bleep. Okay, yeah, I'm going to sell this. And then Ticketmaster is going to take 20%. So, like, the Niners game was a prime example last year. There was more. I've never seen more away fans in my life than the Niners game last season. So,
Yeah, and I appreciate you answering that for me, because, like you just said, you've given tickets away, and one of the games that I was lucky enough to go to was a gift. I got to go see Blaine Gabbert and the 49ers in 2014 play against the Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, it was a great game. We totally got our butt kicked. But I think it was like 14-17 or 24 or something like that. I ended up getting to only see the fourth quarter. But what was great is somebody like you who had season tickets, who didn't want to go to the game, or something happened, they were like, hey, you want to head out to the game? And I'm not trying to get like over on anybody, but they had asked me multiple times, we're going to games, would you like to go? And I always was like, well, I like watching the game with my wife. And they're like, oh, if you ever want to go, we usually have an extra ticket. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks, but yeah, I like going with my wife. Well, they kept asking me, and I was like, finally I said, well, if you guys ever have 2 tickets, and I joked, right, and laughed, and they said, okay, well, we'll let you know. Well, one day they actually handed me 2 tickets for me and my wife, Tony, and we got to go see the game. So I'm like really thankful, because I know tickets cost, and it's just like, if you can be that kind to somebody and turn around to hand your tickets, and it's all about fandom, you guys are the 12th man up there, we're the faithful. I don't know, like, just spread the cheer around. But again, if you can make money, I get it. I just can't see somebody going and spending like 50 cents for a Slim Jim and walking out of the store, in front of the store, and then selling it for like $5. And that's what I kind of feel like they've been doing.
that's what it is too, and it's frustrating because as somebody that has bought shit off Ticketmaster before, and that was an issue for a while because my dad he was since 2012 he was in a wheelchair, and it was an issue because sometimes we call to get games transferred into the handicap section, and they go, "Oh well, it's sold out in the handicap section, right?" Well, a lot of those people, they don't have to be singing handicap section, and that's a whole different story. But so we have to go on Ticketmaster, right? We have to sell our tickets, right, to buy tickets on Ticketmaster instead of just calling the team and being like, "Oh, hey, we need my dad's in a wheelchair. We need to do this." So, and it's double the price. It's double the price. It's insane. But yeah, that's always been my thing. Dave McNiner, I'm sorry, I've been ignoring you all night.
That. But well, I had one question for you.
What?
Thoughts on the Nwosu extension? That's the guy I wanted us to sign like two
Last
off seasons
season.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm stoked. Like I said, he was the best pass rusher on the team last year by far. I think it was like seemed like he was the only pass rusher on the team last season. But yeah, why not? He's kind of a guy that he doesn't play the run like Michael Bennett, right? But he's kind of like that guy like Michael Bennett that you can just depend on play after play to be around the ball. And that's my thing with him. I like him. 9.5 sacks last year. No Bosa, right? He's not going to get $35 million a year.
Do you think Frank Clark goes anywhere?
Has he not? Yeah, he signed with the Broncos.
Okay.
I
You want to say
remember
it?
that.
You want to say it, or you want me to say it?
What?
Let's ride.
Oh yeah, that's right. Dude, I was so the Broncos game last season. The Broncos game last season. I mean, I took my dad's best friend because my dad passed away before last season. I took my dad's best friend. So it used to be the three of us. Like, you guys remember the Beastquake game against the Saints?
Yes.
So it was us three that went to that game, and like the 2005 NFC Championship game against the Panthers. Like, it was always us three, like, going to the game. So me and my dad would sit in our seats, and then the seat right next to us. So we were section 121, row BB, seats 1 and 2, but seat 3 was always on eBay. So my dad's friend Steve would always buy seat 3, right? So we would, anyways, the Broncos game, I'm going, okay, just me and Steve are going to go, nobody else. Like, I had friends that were like, hey, can I go with you? No, I'm sorry. I'm taking Steve with me. So, I don't think I've ever been so happy to win a regular season football game than beating the Denver Broncos. And God, I just remembered every Broncos fan leaving that tunnel because our seats are kind of right by like an exit tunnel, that goes to the main concourse of the stadium. Just hanging my hand out, going, Broncos country, let's ride, baby. And then I didn't know how bad it was going to go for them through the season. That was a train wreck. It was awesome. Our draft pick just kept getting better and better and better. I remember at one point I was like week 5, I was like, man, they might not make the playoffs. We might get a top 15 pick, and then before you know it, we're picking 5th overall because of Russell Wilson. So.
Well, it's been about an hour, guys. I'd love to talk a little longer, but we'll keep it short because we all got to go to work tomorrow. But, thank you, everybody in the chat. We've had like 21 people in at one time. The chat was popping. Everybody's happy. But our final thoughts and, like the last couple of things that we could get off is, first off, Joe Stevens got a great channel. Please go check him out. The link is in the description. It will be in the description also after. It's in the comment section. I'll bring it up real quick. David McNiner has a channel as well, and we do things back and forth, so please go check him out.
You got a channel now?
What I would like to do...
I'm hooked to StreamYard and everything, buddy. I'm just learning everything about StreamYard before I actually make a video.
My problem was... Well, I'll talk to you afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So this is David's YouTube channel. Go check it out. It's David McNiner, and you'll see his face, and give him a subscription if you'd like. We would really appreciate it. We're growing together. And then here's Joe's. Tony, put it in the chat for both of us, for everyone. And Joe's a great guy, and yeah, he talks Seahawks. But if any 49er content creator would like to talk to him, or do something, or any other do a panel, Joe's pretty easy to talk to. You guys can definitely see that here. So before we get going, So before we get going, I definitely want to touch on that, like the beast mode, the quake mode game. That's one I'll probably never forget. I'll never forget the Tony Romo game where he ran it into the end zone, instead of letting the kicker kick it. I don't think I'll forget the Green Bay Packer game with the refs. And those are my probably like the three games that
Rewatch that. Rewatch that. The Fail Mary game. Do you have an NFL Plus?
no.
I'll send you my login to NFL Plus. Rewatch that game and tell me how many calls were actually in the Packers' favor, and I bet you can find one. And that was the Fail Mary. The Packers shouldn't even been in that game because of the officials. Go rewatch it. That was the one that grabbed the headlines, right? Rewatch it.
I'll definitely take a look. I'll take a look because I like it. But other than the Niner rivalry games and stuff like that, I can't tell you, really like any Cardinal games or Rams games that really stick out to me that you guys have battled. But those are my games that I got to give you guys a shout out to, and cheers. You guys put up a good game. David, do you have any memorable Seahawk moments that you would like to give kudos to?
The last game of 2019 when the division
All
and
right.
number one seed was on the line. Yeah, that was a fun game to watch. Though.
Hey, it don't matter who you're rooting for in that game. That was one of those games that it's just like same thing with the 2013 NFC Championship game. It's like any game that comes down to the wire like that, and it's between two teams that actually hate each other. Like, I mean, really hate each other. It's just different. It's so fun.
So, David, again, do you got any good games besides that one, or is that you know, what's your thoughts, real quick? With the Steelers Pittsburgh Seahawk game, and do you think that one was fair, or
Who thinks that game was fair?
No,
that one was
no, you talking the Super Bowl? No, that game wasn't fair. No,
I mean,
because hey, remember what I actually have the opinion because Jerome Bettis announces his retirement. At that time, Pittsburgh was not in playoff contention. Then they won all the way out to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl.
Kinda.
What a story.
You guys have definitely
That's
been
not
busy.
suspicious at all.
So Mike Holmgren was our head coach, and he was honestly, until Pete Carroll arrived, he was our best coach we've ever had. And we had kind of like a little, not quite like a parade when we won the Super Bowl, but we had this thing at the stadium where the players came out and everybody talked. And Mike Holmgren, who never really says anything like too edgy, goes, "Yeah, I knew we were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. I didn't know we were going to have to play the guys in the striped shirts as well."
See, and that's why, like I like David because David will give you honest answers, like sure, we're Niner fans, but we can see it, and yeah, the black and white zebras out there, they've cost us a Super Bowl or two, I believe, and I think they've cost you one or two, and we'll give you at least one. We'll give you at least one, right?
We cost ourselves the Patriots one. So
Well, David, you got anything going on that you want to tell anybody about that's going on with your channel or anywhere you can be found in the next couple days? And same thing with you, Joe. And then let's go ahead and get out of here, guys. Thank you all for coming. We've had a really good chat, really good conversation. Joe, you'll probably see him again sometime on our channel. Hopefully one day you might see, right?
what?
This face or maybe that face, I tried to do that Vogue thing.
I didn't get it. Over my head.
But Joe, if you ever need somebody to come on, you want to just talk football, I'm here, David's here, and we do appreciate you. But David, what you got going on? I know it's almost Friday, and what you got going for the week?
Well, tomorrow is my Friday. Yeah, buddy. But we got the trivia on Corey Davis tomorrow night. Question 46 through 60.
Yeah.
And then we got, of course, the NFL variety show, No Border Sports, on Friday. And then, the coffee talk with Bryant Culp and guests. Guests will vary depending on who can make it.
Yep.
and Sunday too. But I believe you're thinking about when the season starts, no Sunday, just because everyone has their game day ritual, right?
Yeah, it's either going to be early, like I'm talking 7 or 8 in the morning, which would be an hour your time, or something. But it would only be maybe a half an hour if that, because I like my morning, Sunday morning climbing up, and I just sometimes that Saturday night you had a little bit too much fun or whatever, so you want those couple minutes. But doing the shows in the mornings definitely made me disciplined. I've been jumping up out of bed a little bit earlier, and we'll just have to kind of see. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of leaning for, is moving forward with the show on just maybe Saturdays with interviews and guests, and then after the season slows down, hopefully we'll have a lot to talk about. We always have a lot to talk about, but that's kind of how I'm leaning. But Joe, what's going on with your channel? I know you and Ryan do some stuff, and
Yeah, so we're gonna be on my channel tomorrow, talking, I'm sure, more training camp stuff, and then that's about it. That's about it. I know I was having Levi on every Monday. He's got some personal stuff going on, so maybe one day in the near future, me and Levi might do some stuff together. I don't know. I do want to give a big shout out to that one Falcons fan in here before we get out of here.
Yeah,
because I've never seen him before, so.
So check him out. He's got a channel too. He's done things with CarCast, I believe. And he's a Falcon fan. He's a really cool guy. I found him in another stream, and I've subscribed to his channel. I hopefully, I believe he's subscribed here. David and Joe, they'd appreciate you as well. And yeah, just type it in, Dat One Falcons fan. And yeah, he's done some stuff with CarCast, if I'm correct. So thank you for coming through tonight. So.
But yeah, that's about it. Just tomorrow and then Friday. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think I'm going out of town. So
I hear you. I'm thinking about going camping too.
Summer sucks, dude. I hate summer. The wife drags me everywhere. Like, oh, you got to go hang out with your friends. It's summer.
Got to. If you don't hang out with friends and they think you got lonely, or they think you got new friends, so you got to definitely get out and absorb life. But yeah, I might go camping too. I might not go too far. I think my camper's in the driveway. We might just sleep in that. So
Jesus, that's so stupid. That's for another time.
Thank you all for coming. We had a great time. And, if you ever want to come on as a guest, we just cut back and we talk a little bit of football and a little bit of life. So appreciate you. Cheers to everyone. And with that, go ahead. You go Niners, go Seahawks, go NFL, no injuries, and best player should play, right? So with that, thank you guys.
Yeah. Go Niners and F the land.
Yeah.